Facebook is very creative driven. Whoever has the biggest creative output will win. For $1,000 per day, we did 200 ads over the course of 4 days. He went from a 3X to a 12X return on investment. Most people treat marketing like this. Let's run an ad, let's pray. That's not a strategy. That's called hope. According to Facebook, only 1 in 10 ads becomes a top performer. The cheapest cost per contract we have right now is $380. If you're trying Facebook, in order to get the data faster, you need to at least get $100 a day. I get a cold call lead coming in, I can call it the next day. But when I get an inbound coming in, literally I gotta call it within 5 minutes. The wholesalers think about how can I get rich in the next 3 months. They're a little bit delusional. Sorry, wholesalers.
The next speaker, he is known, probably seen him on your Instagram or Facebook. Hell yeah. Probably also seen him sharing a bed at every mastermind with JT. Even if there's multiple beds available, they still find a way to get into one, right? It's crazy. You've probably seen him riding bulls and a time or two has broken a pelvic bone, but gets right back up. And you've probably seen him pumping iron that's not very heavy.
That's crazy.
Without further ado, the man that has managed so much fucking money in ad spend, I can't even quantify it, Mr. Courtney Scott. Give him a round of applause.
I hate you. Thank you, brother. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Good. That's what I'm talking about. So, honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. Last night, I was talking to some of you guys, like Rob, talking to you gentlemen, and I was talking to everyone all day today, and I was like, my presentation isn't gonna resonate. So, the better half of this morning, what I did, I sat back there and I redid a whole new presentation. So, it's gonna be ugly. Keep in mind, probably some grammar errors. It's not organized, but I want you guys to get as much value from this as you guys possibly can take. And I'm gonna try to make it quick so you guys can literally just have some Q&A, all right? That's fair? And I'm off a couple monsters right now, just so you guys know. So I'm trying to keep it down. And someone told me literally that I talk too fast. So I'm trying to slow it down for you guys so you guys can actually take that information in.
The monsters will help with the talking stuff. Right?
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, who's currently right now running Facebook ads? Okay, so a lot of you guys, who's looking to run Facebook ads? Okay, fair enough. So basically what I'm gonna show you guys is the 3 mistakes to avoid when you're actually running your own Facebook ads or doing any marketing. The first mistake I see a lot of people making is not actually understanding it. Because I go into so many of you guys' ad accounts, like Rob, I'm sorry to be calling you out, but I went into his ad account and I was like, dude, the biggest fundamental thing that made us have so much success and the great success is because our angles and the volume that we do creates the luck that we have. And I'm gonna explain what that means a little bit later on in the presentation, because we test so many different angles, but we also have so much volume going through, so we find winners way faster than everyone else at an alarming rate, if that makes sense. Go to the next one. So most people treat marketing like this, like, hey, let's post an ad, let's run an ad, let's pray. That's not a strategy. That's called hope. As you guys know, looking at Rob's account, that's what happened. He just posted up an ad and was like, okay, let's see if this thing performs. So there's no real plan, no feedback loop, no growth. So you're just gonna get stuck. You're just gonna plateau, and especially when you try to scale. That's the biggest thing. Awesome. So I'm gonna give you guys a prime example right here. So Eric, he came to us. He was spending, I think, $3,000 a month in ad spend, or $3,000 a day. So it's like 90 G's a month. And I'm like, dude, this is great. We get access to his ad account. This is not real estate, but this is to let you guys know how creative you have to be. We get access to his ad account. He's spending $3 grand a day off of just 3 ads. And I'm like, okay, were these the best performing ads? And I looked through them and I'm like, dude, what's going on here? There's no structure, nothing's organized, everything is all over the place. And he was getting like a 3-4x return. I'm like, dude, this is insane. I came in and said, dude, we're gonna decrease the ad spend to 2 G's a day, but 1,000 of that I'm only gonna use for texting. For $1,000 per day, we did 200 ads over the course of 4 days, 200 ads, put them up. Within like the first week, he went from a 3X to a 12X return on investment. And I was like, why did he do so good so fast? And I was like, because we literally just pushed so many different angles, so many different creatives that some was performing at a 15X. Guess what we're doing with those now? Scaling them up, scaling them very aggressive. Some did a 3X, so we probably cut those off, but he's still profitable. But we know what the winners are, and we know how aggressive to get with those. So that's just like one example I want to share with you guys, like our angles and the volume that we did, because anybody else would have got in that account, like in 4 days, 200 ads. As you guys know, someone told me like, hey, Courtney, how can you push out that much volume? Chandler, how are you able to sit down and do that many creatives? Because I looked in Chandler's ad account as well. but he's a very creative guy. Next one. All right, so how to increase your return on Facebook. Don't complicate it. All right, it's super simple. I hear a lot of guys talking about, hey, I have a super cheap cost per lead. Honestly, and then Chandler said, no, not Chandler, but Ryan was sitting outside and we were talking to you. He was like, dude, honestly, a super cheap cost per lead doesn't even matter. Only thing it comes down to is just a cost per deal is. Like, I know I want to get it. If I can get a cost per lead of $1, I'll take it if it's a good quality lead. But my manager had to go through 95 leads to get, had to go through 95 leads to get one contract. You should have just did cold calling, if you ask me. And I was like, man, why? Because everybody's like, hey, I just want as many leads as possible. Now you got a filtering process. Now we got to get a lead manager. We can put more pieces in part of the acquisition that we got to manage, and it doesn't make sense. So how can we make sure we get the lowest cost per deal when it actually comes down to it and take more money to the pocket? That's how I feel like you guys should be equating it. So is it really important? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, don't try to get a cheap cost per lead, because sometimes you get $20 cost per lead, cost per contract, $800. That makes sense. But it's all market specific. So you could probably do that in, let's say, Texas, or you can do that in Georgia, or you can do that somewhere else. But Rob is probably not going to sell $20 cost per lead in his market. So it's all market specific. So he can say, hey, I want a higher cost per lead, but I want mine to convert 1 out of 5. But in Vegas, it got to convert, 1 out of, 20. So my cost per lead can be $20. And it'll make sense at scale. So, like I said, everything's gonna be based off of what I did this morning. And I literally went in Rob's ad account this morning. So I'm gonna keep kind of referencing towards Rob. So I was like, man, you have to understand when to ask more or less questions. So Rob had 2 questions on that form. And it was great questions to put on the form, especially when the quality, like when you're having quality problems and quality control. So I was like, Rob, your cost per lead's high. You said my goal is to get it from 137 to $100. I was like, I guarantee you take those 2 questions out of the form, your cost per lead will actually go down by 20%. Easy. So, and then I go and see, because when we started off, by the time in Denver, I did this presentation, we were asking 22 to 17 questions at the time. And our cost per lead was like $100, probably 170 in some markets, 250 in some markets. But then I was like, hey, what if we just, because we have so much data, because we generate like 7,000, 10,000 leads a month. Like, we got so much data, let's create lookalike audiences and just ask less questions. So now our forums probably have like 3, 4 questions, 5 questions max, because we're utilizing that data. And now we're getting cheaper cost per leads, and we set up the conditions as me and Ryan was talking about outside. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with conditions on lead forms, yes?
No, say what it is.
Okay, just say what it is. Okay. So in order to feed the pixel, we don't want to feed it like bad data. We don't want to feed it listed property. So you ask a question on there, hey, is this property listed? And if they say yes, what you can do is don't let them fill out the form. You can kick them off the form. Same thing if it's a mobile home. Hey, if you click mobile home, I don't want to optimize for mobile homes, so let me kick you off the form. So we just let Facebook know over and over again, we only want residential and unlisted properties. And you can do that on landing pages, but that's probably a little bit technical, because anybody running landing page Facebook ads right now? You the only one? Okay, you too? Okay, so majority of everybody doing lead forms. Okay, yeah, so just conditions. That'll probably be more complex as far as in the landing pages, the conversion rates, and the qualifications. And I was hearing Rob again, and a couple more people. A couple more people as well. And I was like, there's a lot of different things that we have to test. And everyone, I'm not gonna say everyone, but in a Facebook ad account, you can scale horizontally or you can scale vertically. So am I gonna actually go and increase this ad set by 20%, or am I actually gonna duplicate this campaign? So if I'm spending, just cause I see some eyes are like, what do you mean? So if I'm spending $100 a day and I wanna scale it up to $200 a day, I got a winning campaign. I can't go to that specific ad set that's performing and go and say, hey, I wanna spend $200 on it now, it will reset. But what I can do is click on it and say, hey, I'm gonna increase it by 20%. Because if you go anything over 20%, it's have to restart. So I put it at $120. Now you have that $80. You can duplicate the campaign and put it at $80. You had a question? Nope. Okay. You can put it at an additional $80. So that's what it comes down to. But I hear Rob was like, hey, Courtney, I don't know if I want to go into another market because my market is very challenging. Or I'm like, or you can optimize, you can like just scale it up with what you have, stabilize your CPL, and scale it up in your market if you get a good cost per contract. And this young lady back here was telling me like, hey man, we decided to go nationwide, and when we went nationwide, guess what happened? It was hard to underwrite deals, fallout went through the roof. I think you said you locked up 21 contracts and 5 of them closed. And like that's super stressful on the morale for the sales team, as you guys know, because especially if they're commission only. I'm thinking I'm finna get a big check. Next month come, oh no, sorry, that deal fell through. Next month come, oh sorry, that deal fell through as well. And now the sales team is leaving you, and you guys are like, oh man, I got a hiring problem. Nobody want to actually work for you because literally majority of your deals falling out. I'm not. Okay. Oh no. I'm sorry, but you, as you know, I'm so sorry, but as you know in that process, yes, but as you know, if you doing it yourself, you know, like, oh fuck, dude, I gotta fix my marketing campaigns. Okay, yes. So you're around when now you're like, man, I'm doing something wrong. Is it my sales? I'm not getting them deep enough, because she have to nationwide. She have to know Texas, non-disclosure state. She have to know Florida, different like Pennsylvania, all these other different markets. And that's more training she have to understand and more disposed, get a bigger buyer list, and that just becomes a headache. And when you get in rooms like this, here's what happens. I hear, let's say if someone like these gentlemen, Mike and JC, is doing fucking good out in the Vegas market. You're not in that market, but you're like, hey man, these guys are killing it over there. Let me jump into their market. But they understand it. They've been in it for 3 years. You jump in there, you have bad results, right? So I was like, why you just want fix your conversion rate? His conversion rate on his lead form is like 10%. I was like, take those 2 questions out, you can probably get it to 20%. And now you're getting a cheaper cost per lead because you go from 10% to 20%. What happens? More leads, double the leads. So your cost per lead literally like just cuts in half just by that little bit of increase, right? So I'm like, how can you do that at scale? So it's like, you trying to decide, well, do I actually want to go into a different market, or do I actually just want to make sure I can stay in my market and scale up, or you can scale out doing the different platforms, Google, or you can scale out and do TikTok ads, or whatever the case may be, direct mail. So you can stay in your markets, don't have to learn in other markets. I think that's more complex, but sometimes it makes more sense, especially, I know Chandler, when you first started working with Micah, if you don't mind me picking on you a little bit, same problem as her, and Chandler was like, yeah, you suck everywhere else, but you're really good here. And then he actually stayed in that market and got really good returns really fast because he dialed in and it was his backyard and that was his market. He understood it. Oh, yeah. Please. Pretty please. pretty please. Okay. And looking at some ad accounts, and I'm like, how many creatives should everyone be running? Chandler asked me that. I saw Rob was running one ad at $100 a day. I see some guys at ad accounts. I'm like, all right, you're not running enough ads. You're not doing enough creative. So go back to that story I just told you guys in the beginning. Where should you start? I think everyone here, if you're trying Facebook, I heard some gentleman, I forgot who it was, that they started at $1,500 a day. I mean, $1,500 a month and ad spend $50 a day. I think that's okay. But I think in order to get the data faster, you need to at least bid $100. Because scaling $50 a day at 20% increments every 5 days, it'll take you way longer to get to, $200 a day in ad spend than it will if you just started off with 100. Do that make sense? Okay, so I say start at least $100 a day, and Rob was spending $100 a day. And the reason why I say $100 a day is because you're gonna set up 16 creatives. I'm gonna show you guys how I structure my 16 different creatives. So in case you guys want to go back and just take a picture of it, screenshot it, and say, how would you do it? Because I think Google is like super simple, cut and dry. As the gentleman said, like, hey, everybody have the same landing page, everybody's talking the same keywords, everybody using the same data. That's all Google is. I think it's very cut and dry. But I think Facebook is different because it is like very, very creative driven. Like really creative driven. If you have whoever have the biggest creative and like photos or videos, whoever have the most output of that just will win. Because I can test way more creatives than you. If he can actually test 100 creatives a month and you only can test 20, he'll win because he'll find a winner. I'm gonna show you guys the stats on that. So that's why I say that about Facebook. But you guys should start off with at least 16 different creatives to start. So here's how I structure my campaigns. What we're doing is we're doing more volume lead forms with our OTP, and OTP is where they have to basically verify it's the correct phone number. Or you can just take off a field on there to say, hey, we don't want them to autofill the phone number if you guys optimize for a cheaper cost per lead. But it's all market specific. Because if we're in certain markets where we listen to the client feedback, we're not just posting ads and just spraying and hoping on everybody, like, we need to take the data. We really need the data. The data does so much work for us. So the clients have to literally get on the calls and tell us exactly, hey, my leads are not picking up. What is your pickup rate? 20% of them aren't picking up. Okay, we can OTP verify, make sure all the numbers are verified before they actually come into your CRM, or you really not calling them fast enough. So we have to see it on like that scale too. It have to be, because if we make this update, this change, and put an OTP on there, the cost per lead may actually just double. but you were calling the leads a whole day later. You should have probably just called them within 5 minutes, fix that, and you're still having a bad pickup rate, then we'll put OTP on there. So that's how we start a majority of our clients, because if you're an agency, if you're an agency and I pay you a lot of money up front to run my ads, and then these leads are not picking up the phone, they're gonna chew me out, right? So it's like, hey, we wanna make sure if they are getting leads, we wanna make sure it's the right numbers. And then they can give us the feedback that we need. Okay? So it's like a verification. So it's like, I think I said OTP, right? Yeah, something like that, yes, correct. So it's like they send you a number to their phone, gotta verify, put that code into the field, then they submit it to make sure it's the right phone numbers. But MV, that's how I just named my lead forms, guys. MV is just more volume. But we literally do it, these are ad sets. So my ad set is $25. As I was telling Chandler here, I've been running ads for at least 3-4 years on an Alpha Media ad account. I've spent, I think I checked about 2 weeks ago, and I think I spent like $2 million in my own ad account personally. And I was like, dude, over the last year or two, I haven't increased one ad set over like $50. Because like Facebook, here's how I think Facebook works. Because everyone have different ad accounts, and I was explaining this to Chandler. It comes down to the ad accounts. If you had an ad account, I had an ad account, we targeted the same markets, and we had the same creatives, the same audience and everything. My cost per lead may be cheaper, yours may be higher, and yours may be even higher than his. But we're targeting the same audience, we're doing the same creatives, everything is different, because it comes down to Facebook ad account. So when you guys are structuring up these, if it's coming down to the ad account, it also comes down to the ad sets. And you guys will notice this once you guys start to scale, because you will have one ad set, same creative in all of them. One to have a super cheap CPL and one to have a more expensive CPL. But like these are the exact same creative, the exact same audience. Why is one getting it for like $50 and this one's over here getting it for $100? These the same thing. I didn't change not one thing in them, but one is performing way better than the other. So when I structure mine, I just go $25 per ad set. I do one for photos only. I do not like testing photos and videos together. I don't think that makes sense. So I don't test them together, me personally. You guys can do as you please, but if you want to do it right, do it like this. I say photos, I do 4 creatives, and then I do another 4, I just separated it just so you guys can understand it, but I do another 4 different ones. So that's 8 different photos that I'm using. And also, same thing with videos, 8 different videos I'm using, same lead form question, same everything. When you guys are testing, do keep in mind, you're testing for one variable. Do not test, I'm gonna ask this question on this form. If you got 16 different creatives here, don't have 16 different lead forms. Don't have 16 different ad copies, headlines. That doesn't make sense. Test for one variable. I wanna see which one of these creatives can perform at a high level. And that's how I structure my campaigns. We start off, any questions here?
Yeah, so you have 6, let's just do photos. So you have 8 different photos you're using with the exact same process from there.
Yep.
The photos. Then you take the best photo that performs.
Yep.
Let's say you duplicate it. From there, you then duplicate that into 8 of those same ones and then switch like a question on the form. Like, is that how you would split test that and go?
Yes, correct. Good question. You're a good marketer, huh? Yeah.
You're only doing 4 creatives per ad set, like you won't do more?
I won't do more with the amount of budget I'm spending per ad set. Because I would rather just test this and just scale this really aggressive. Because let's say if this is a top performer one, these ones didn't perform. What I would do then, if this one had a super cheap cost per lead, I just scale this one really aggressive. I'll literally just duplicate this 10 times. 5 of them isn't gonna perform. The other 5 probably get me a cheaper CPL, and I cut the other 5 off and just keep scaling it, and then I create different variations of it. And I'll get to you right after.
On the creative video creatives, so when you say 4 different creatives, do you mean 4 completely different videos or
Yes.
4 different hooks?
And
how do you test hooks, or do you test hooks?
Yeah, so we test hooks, we test the body, we test also where they're at. So I saw the one you showed me, the lady, she was walking outside her home. I would say, hey, the same thing, same concept. I want you sitting in your car. Same concept, I want you sitting at your desk. Same concept, I want you actually dressed in the suit. Does it work in my market? Suits, like if you're in Texas, you're probably up there with a suit. I don't know, unless you got like a funny thing to it, probably put on the cowboy hat. You'll probably get a really cheap cost per lead. But it's all market specific. You can have this, if you're like, I can't do 8 different, hooks or 8 different messagings, just change up the background. Just do something different. I'm gonna do one walking, I'm gonna do one sitting, I'm gonna do one doing the back flip, I'm gonna do one doing the front flip, I'm gonna do one swimming in the pool. You can just change them up as you go, but you wanna have different ads to test against each other. Because that variable, that inside of the creative that you change, because you're not changing any other variable. If the pool one is performing an ad, you're like, these people must love pools. If I'm in Miami, they must love a pool, so I'm gonna shoot all my ads in the pool. Then I go in the pool, change up the body, change up the message, change up the hook, whatever the case may be. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because by you controlling that one variable, then I can know how to test. But if someone coming in 4 different lead forms, you don't know what actually drove that cheap CPL. You don't know if it's the creative. You don't know if it's a lead form. You don't know if it's the headline or the ad copy. That doesn't, then you kind of just rambling on. You trying to just figure it out. So if you start it, if you structure it right from the start, it'll be way easier for you to scale. Way easier for you to scale. She was next to that, and I got you, brother.
So the $25 a day budget,
Yes, ma'am.
and then how long do you run the split test for?
So I will run my split test for, it depends. So market specific, if I want my goal CPL to be $100, if I want my clients, if I tell all my clients, hey, your CPL is gonna be $100, and I want you to convert 1 out of 17. So I want your cost per contract to be under $2,000. Okay. Yes, okay, so, sorry about that. That's that monster kicking in. Okay, so if my goal for my clients, their cost per lead $100, and I want them converting 1 out of 17. So I want their cost per contract under $2,000. But that's average across the whole US. Some, have 600. The cheapest cost per contract we have right now is $380. So, but just because we just kept optimizing, we worked with that client for a long time. So it's all like market specific, but if you have a goal, whatever your goal CPL is, you want your cost per contract to be under $2,000, then I will go 2.5 to 3 times what it is. So if I'm spending $100, let's say if I'm spending $25 a day, I'll run this probably for like 2 weeks before I decide to cut it off. Unless it's a really terrible performing one, right? But I would not scale unless, okay, we have enough data. I feel like some people jump a campaign like, oh, this is a winner, and you got lucky, and it probably generated 3 leads in one day, and then it never generated a lead again. And we fell to that mistake, because we tried to optimize very quick. We tried to jump on that, like, oh, we got a winner, so let's go and scale it. And it didn't perform after we scaled it up, and we lost a lot of money the next 5 days after that.
So like about a 2-week trial test, but then you're really looking for the conversion and the cost per.
Yes, that's what I really look for.
That's what makes it a winner.
Yes, that's what I look for. And I'll give you an example. I don't know if I put it in here, but I'll share it with you. So we have this one client in Houston. Everybody knows Houston is a challenging market. Yeah, it's very competitive, especially when you're running ads. And so 2 separate ad accounts. One client, CPL $70. He's getting like a 10x return out there. Great. New client we bring on, been on for 6 weeks. Cost per lead, I feel bad to say this as a marketer. His cost per lead was $300 in the Houston market. I feel like, okay, 6 weeks, so we can, trying to pull the wool over it, like your eyes, that's what agencies do, but we're not gonna do that. So I was like, hey dude, what is your account? How many contracts you got? And he's like, oh, I got 3 contracts. And I was like, so what do you want us to do here? Oh, I want more volume. Just increase your ad spend, and then we could test more creatives, and we'll get your cost per lead way cheaper. Because you're already profitable. Now let's just keep on increasing. So it's all market specific, and it's like, fuck, dude, we put that guy, we put all of the data we got into the account, and we put all these conditions on your form, so your cost per lead is way more expensive than his cost per lead. Yes, but dude, you're converting like 1 out of 5, he's converting 1 out of 17. So it makes more, you feel like, okay, I'm missing out on so much lead flow, but dude, you're spending $1,500 of cost per contract. Let's scale this up. And those deals are projected to make him I think he was looking at a higher return than a 10X than the other guy, because he spent, I kind of don't want to quote this wrong, I think he only spent $4,500, and he was projected to make 60, 70, and I was like, dude, you want me to take some questions off your form? You want me to change up the creatives that are working? You're not giving me that much to work with. I would love to do that, but I have to cut off of these. And can you sustain that? And I'm gonna talk about change as well, a little bit. Fidel?
What's your biggest struggle when you take on a new client? Because for me, it's, okay, you know what's working in different markets.
Yeah.
But it's kind of figuring out what kind of campaign structure and ad angles and stuff works for that specific market. So for you, what would you say is the hardest thing for a new client?
I think the hardest thing is setting expectations, because as you guys know, Sean's one of my clients. He's one of the top clients. Dude, every client I talk to, I want to come in, I want to beat Sean. I want to beat Sean campaigns. I want to beat Sean's campaign. I've been running ads for him for 2 years. It's I'm not going to beat it in 2 months. So the hardest thing is we know which creatives work. So we'll just try to create different variations of those creatives and put it in that market, because it's market specific with the creatives. So we have that graphic design guy. He just put out a lot of different creatives for us. But the biggest thing is trying to get them to understand they're not going to be as good as someone that has been running ads for 2 years, because they delusional, because the wholesalers think about, hey, how can I get rich in the next 3 months? So it's about setting the proper expectations. Dude, it's probably going to take you, 6 months. to actually like. You'll see a return in 3 months. I'm not saying that, guys. Do not. If you're thinking about hiring me, I'm not saying it's gonna take you 6 months, but you'll get returns in 3 months. However, but they want to how can you said Sean's getting a 17x? How can I get a 17x next month? Come on, your business. You literally was broke. You didn't do no deals for 2 months before. You think I'm gonna come in and actually change your whole business around in 1 month? So they're a little bit delusional. Sorry, wholesalers, but you guys are. Not you guys. Okay. Yeah, I know you had another one.
Yeah. So. When you split up these ad sets, like right now my ads, the audience is all the different markets. So you would do each ad set is just like, this is Miami, this is Houston, this is...
I'll put them all in one.
Okay, so they're all...
Oh yeah, I would combine them. Yeah, I would combine them. Unless, I would combine them. So we had this client, he came to us and he was like, hey Courtney, I want to actually try out, so we're doing the Southeast for him. And he's like, dude, I want to try out the Midwest. We should try out the Midwest. I'm like, all right, you got the budget. Let's move 20% of your budget to the Midwest. Ran that exactly for a whole quarter. And then we looked at how much money you spent in the Midwest. What was your return in the Midwest? And what was your return in the Southeast? Hey, you're getting a bigger return here. Let's start moving the budget over.
The same creatives.
With different creatives because we already been in those markets. So we know which creatives work in what markets. So, because we got that cowboy video that Micah did for us so kindly, that'll work good Southeast. But I'm not putting it in the Midwest, So it's something different, more of a guy with a beard, probably a flannel on, something separate in those markets because everything is just like market specific. It's a really good question.
Doing the creative like in the video, or is it actors or other people, different avatars per market?
So I'm gonna use Devin for this because Devin uses my services, right? So Devin, cost per lead is cheaper with him in it because he's in Charleston, right? Look at this beautiful guy. He's in Charleston and he looked like somebody in Charleston, if I'm being honest with you. so just imagine me on one of his ads in Charleston saying I want to buy your house fast for cash, but Devin in there do it. He'll get a cheaper cost per lead. So it makes sense for him to actually be on his own ad. Then I would just hire an actor that looked more like Devin. Because they say marketing, like Facebook have discriminatory acts or something on there. You can't go outside the housing category, but that's all marketing is. I know who my audience is. I want to target a specific type of person, especially if it's market specific. So you got to find ways to get around it, and by putting a beautiful face like this up, you'll get a cheaper cost per lead in this market.
So Facebook knows that it's his ad account and him on the video.
No.
At a cheaper cost.
No, it's more of his audience he's targeting. Because so when you're on Facebook, you're like, hey, I want to spend $100 a day. I want to buy $100 a day worth of people seeing my ad. And then what happens is, all right, if I'm sending out to the right people with the right messaging, that $100 a day worth of advertisers' attention that you're getting me, if 10 go and submit that form, then hey, that's a cost for $10 cost per lead, right, when it comes down to it. So it's just, I got to send out the right message, and I got to make sure I'm targeting the right audience, and he is the prime person of that right audience. Does that make sense? Yes, he attracting the right audience.
Does that help a lot more because then people saw his face, they know his voice, and then he's
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
It must make your whole close way easier than somebody who's using ads with actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, I don't go to all my appointments in person, but when I do, if they saw me, it's instant credibility right there.
Yeah.
Instant. And then trust is an all-time high. So if someone get on the call with me, oh, Courtney, you're the cowboy marketer dude. You're the one in the ads, dude. I saw you naked. Like some guy here, I know. He's looking like, what are you talking about? Some guy walks up to me at this event because I did an ad 4 years ago, guys. 4 years ago. This is how marketing works. I did an ad 4 years ago. I don't know if the gentleman in this room, but he's like, I saw an ad of you in your underwear with holes in it. And I'm like, did you? And I was like, dude, I haven't ran that ad in 4 years. And I was like, it's a pleasure to meet you. And he actually shook my hand and said, it's a pleasure to meet you. I love what you be doing, all your creatives, dude, you're very creative. Because literally, the trust was built. Like if I have somebody else on my ads, you met me, you don't know who I am. It's kind of like, okay, you run the company, cool. But if you see me, you trust me way more. And we all know trust at an all-time low. Takes you 7 to 8 times to see someone before you actually trust them. Like when I met Nico, it took me 8 hours to be around him before I started to like him. I ain't really like Nico at first. But go ahead, Micah.
I've been kind of on the fence, right, about, because, I have other ventures and stuff, but like, conflict of interest with branding and whatnot. But now I'm like more than ever, like, all right, because we're now niched down to the backyard. I'm gonna, now do it.
Oh, are you?
You guys have been telling me for like 2 years.
Yes.
So
put Courtney on it.
Personalized my wife do it. So
I'll say put Courtney on it.
But have you seen like specific case scenarios?
Oh, dude, your cost. So you know Zach Cedeno?
Yeah.
So Zach, his cost per lead went from $120 out in Dallas. Same questions on the lead form, didn't change nothing to $20. And all he did was put him and his wife and his kids in the back, was like, hey, I'm driving with my wife right now and she's making me buy houses so I can get her something for Christmas. You know, so making me buy houses so I can flip your property. If you try to sell your property fast for cash, it's a family man in Dallas. That works awesome, guys. If you want to use that angle. Had some clients out, I think they were Hispanics, and you know how they get down. It was Father's Day. I was like, what are you doing? And they like, man, I know you got, I don't know if this is like a little bit racist of me, but I was like, dude, I know you guys are finna get on that grill and you finna drink, you guys finna have a fucking blast. And they was like, a fucking course. Take a camera out with the whole family in the backyard, you on the grill, you a family man, it's more of a Hispanic town, do that, cost per leads actually went down, quality stayed up, because you're more of a family guy, made it more personable. Right? Do that make sense? Yeah. All right, can I go to the next one, Devin? I'm sorry. All right, so when it done's right, marketing pays for itself. A lot of people, it's really hard to understand that it's gonna pay for itself eventually, right? It doesn't pay for itself the first month. It's probably like the second month or the third month. As we was talking about with someone in the kitchen, I was talking to Carlos right there, and I was like, dude, he's like, man, dude, I haven't attributed. I generated this lead in December, I closed it in February, and I put it on my returns for this year. I'm like, but you ain't spend that money this year, did you? You spent it last year. So it pays for itself. For one, you guys have to figure out how to attribute the marketing. If you generated the lead in January, when you close that deal, you equate that revenue back, so you're not saying, oh, I'm gonna keep scaling this up, especially if you change different type of marketing platforms. If you go from SMS and then you go to Facebook and you close the deal from SMS, you're gonna say, hey, oh, this month I did a 10x return, but that 20, 30K spread came from SMS. And then you're gonna scale, you're scaling chaotically. So you wanna know exactly where everything is coming from. So make sure you guys attribute that. But you guys get better leads, higher quality, stronger sales morale. As we know, fallout drives the sales team down. And if you can do some Facebook ads, get some inbound leads, sales guys love that. If you tell a sales guy on the call, like, hey dude, I'm gonna get you some inbound leads, they probably gonna wanna jump on your team compared to someone saying, I'm gonna need you cold calling. So it's just more inbound, you get more A players, I feel. But so you get better return on investment. It's not just more leads, it's better outcomes at a lower cost. If you do it right, that's the key. The next one. So what really happens inside Facebook? This isn't random. This is stuff that we track. Clicks to form submissions so we can see the conversion rate. That's what I did with Rob's account. That's how I know it was converting at a 10%. And I'm like, hey, why is yours converting at a 10% when all of mine is minimum? With lead forms, guys, you should be at least like a 15 to like 25%. So that's one metric that we track. Also our hold rates and stop rates. I didn't see you have those custom values inside of your account, but what a hold rate and stop rate does, especially with someone like you with a film background, it'll work great because I'm understanding exactly how many people are stopping on my ad and how many people are holding and watching it. What is the rate? Am I targeting the right people? Am I saying the right hook? That helps you identify that. All right. Then also cost per lead, cost per deal, and all through custom form, real-time data. You want to track that as you go. Because literally high performance marketers are 2.5 times more likely to use advanced measurement tools to drive a return on investment. So if you guys are just checking, looking at cost per lead, which is like, hey, when I'm a beginner marketer, that's all I was caring about, cost per lead. But actually, hey, what is the, I know he over here talking to me in acronyms. He's like, hey, this is my CTR. Hey, this is my, conversion rate. And I'm like, all right, this is a conversation I really enjoy because I understand the acronyms that you're talking about. And like, hey, my hold rate is this, my stop rate is this. And we can go and see what the actual problem is. The more you understand, the better. Okay?
All right, so real quick, I think I've got it. But hold rate is like if they stay and actually watch it. Stop
Correct.
rate is if they like stop their scroll.
Stop and scroll, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So does Facebook like take any of those things into account itself when it's learning what avatars, or it has to be taught by whoever manages it?
So
this like campaign is bad.
Yes. So that's how Facebook, so they do take it into account, but you got to know what they're taking into account because you have some ads that are really good creatives, right? They're like, this is a really good creative. Facebook is like, their main goal is to keep people on the platform. Right, so you see those guys that are doing the backflip videos or the AI videos and keeping people on the platform. So Facebook loves those. And what happens if you put that against an ad with the right messaging? Facebook will probably produce this one more. But it's not generating you that many leads, but it's actually getting a lot of people to stop and watch a video. So, but you're not getting that many leads, like it's not converting because more people are stopping watching it. So you want to see, hey, what's the big discrepancy between the two? You realize like this one don't have a good hold rate or a stop rate, but this will have a great one. And there's no hook, it's just because I did a backflip and then the message, so the wrong people will stop optimizing for it, so I turned that one off.
Yeah, so stop rate is only good, obviously, if it produces a
Yes.
click.
Yes.
If the click produces
A lead and then to a deal. Correct. Yes, ma'am.
So when you're looking at these metrics, are you finding them on the meta ad accounts? Like you can see that data there, or how do you track it?
So the beautiful thing about Facebook, guys, I love it. It's like a hidden thing you get to do. So you'll have to go and create it. So Facebook lets you guys get inside the account and create your own custom metrics. And your custom metrics based off of certain stuff. So you have to do like additions, multiplication, like, hey, I want to do views, time of people that watch, 3.3 seconds videos through play. I'll show you guys the metrics and show you guys the exact breakdown if you guys actually want to see it. But I'll also show you guys the whole rate and the stop rate. But you have to customize that, and you guys can literally search it up on Google. Which metrics should I actually track? What are the equations for? And it tells you the equation. So you get to build your own custom one inside. And that's what I really love. And I think that it really makes a lot of sense if you're trying to scale. But if you're trying to do $3,000, $5,000 to $10,000 a month, you probably got to worry about that too much. But we need to pay attention to that because we use a lot of creatives for a lot of clients. Right, David? Okay, and this is what I hear a lot. Someone is here like, oh, someone's getting a great return over here on inbound. So I'm gonna stop my outbound and I'm gonna go all in on inbound. I'm like, guys, you're not factoring in like the cost of change. I heard Alex Ramosi say this, and because I experienced it myself personally. So we jumped from Slack, and we was using all our project management inside of Slack, so all of our clients inside of Slack. It became a headache. And GHL isn't that good for like client management. It's really good for communications and CRM. But we went to Asana. That's a project management tool, great tool, we love it. I was like, guys, this is gonna make us way more productive. I wanna switch the whole team over. You guys got a week, let's all switch over. Churn took a tank because everybody's stuff was falling through the crack. The team wasn't updating it. Everything got bad. Everything just got worse. It got worse before it actually got good. And as we start to I was like, man, hold up, guys. I probably rushed this too fast. I wasn't factoring in at the point like productivity is gonna literally go down by 40% because the team wasn't productive. They were trying to do it, but they kept doing all the EODs on Slack. And I'm like, hey, no, guys, you really need to make sure you check off your task in Asana. So they just kept going back and forth, and they got confused until like after 2 months, they got the hang of it. Then productivity shot back up, and it shot past where it was first, and then clients stopped churning. They actually stayed way longer because now we get to see it at a bigger scale. So, but I wasn't factoring in that. So a lot of people don't factor in that switching a sales script, and I don't know if I put that example in here. You wanna go to the next one? If I talk about it already, because I do want to tell you guys this, because this has happened. It's a true story from a real estate investor that came to us. He came to us, he was killing it his first 3 months, killing it. But he saw a script. He decided to change he saw a script like, dude, I love this script. It fits me, it fits my personality, everything is great. He was getting like an 8X return for the first quarter. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna actually switch everything up. I'm going all in on this script. It's wonderful, I love it. Next 3 to 6 months, he didn't close a deal. Or he closed like 1 or 2 deals. He just went from killing it to closing 1 or 2 deals. And as you guys know, a lot of people probably been in that little rut, and you're spending money on marketing, you're paying out money, you still got living expenses, that bank account started to go down. So he's like, yeah, Courtney, this isn't working out anymore. He was thinking about leaving. I was like, hey, let's hop on a Zoom call real quick. Hop on a Zoom call, what are you doing different? What do you think you're doing different? Broke it down, I was like, dude, that's a different script. I was like, role play with me. You've been doing this script for 3 to 6 months, role play with me. And as he was role playing with me, I'm not that good at sales. I'm just a really good marketer. But I'm like, I'm not that good at sales, but you're way worse than me. Because I could tell you still reading off the script, and I could tell you don't know what to say next. Because he literally, my biggest thing with scripts, I don't know, John can probably correct me if I'm wrong here, but I see a lot of guys come in, I got this great script, I'm switching it all over 100% over here. And then sales tank, because they don't factor in that sales tanking. But if I say, hey, I really like this, let me increment 20%, perfect this 20%, and let me get this other 20%, and then eventually I would change out this script. John, what would you say? What are your thoughts on that?
Exact process, yeah.
Okay, it's exact process, because it's like, this was making him an 8X, and he went from an 8X to literally he was just negative. I don't even want to put a number on it. He was just negative in like the course of 3 months. And I'm like, dude, what happened? We had him optimized. He was set to scale, but his whole process completely changed because he didn't factor in that dip because he was like, ooh, I love this script, I'm all in. So it sounds easy, right, until you try it, but most people want better results. They don't plan for it because it actually costs you time, money, and a little bit of confidence because he was not confident on that call. He was not, because what he'd been doing 2 years prior was working, so he had the confidence. He was confident. Like, if I go and get in an MMA ring, I think I'll take him, you feel me? But Mike, he'll have way more confidence than me because he's been in the ring before. I've never been in the ring. So he'll just have way more confidence because that's what he used to. I'm not used to that. His confidence is going to be higher than mine, but my ego is probably going to be up there. So I think I could win. But not against Mike though, so don't try to beat me up in my sleep. Okay, but in order to fix what's broken, you often have to break it a little bit more, you know, so you changing tools and processes, expect that dip to come, guys. That dip will come, you will feel it. So if you're thinking about going from cold calling straight to like inbound, yes, it's like, hey, I'm just gonna move some of the budget from cold calling over to inbound. Most guys are like, all right, done with cold calling, I want out of it, I wanna replace it, so I'm gonna replace and get rid of it. And that puts so much stress on the marketing company, if you guys didn't know. So whenever a client comes in and say, hey, yeah, dude, I'm moving my budget from cold calling, I'm putting it to you, I say, yeah, no, we're not gonna hire you. We're not gonna bring you on board. It's like, why not? Because you're gonna stress us out because you don't have any deals closing. And then now, like, it's our livelihood. Like Micah told us when he ended up finally retiring the wife. I called up Nikita, his account manager, like, you don't know, we got a different level of stress. Because if Micah don't go and do good, Courtney may call me. And that's his wife's name, by the way. I'm like, Courtney may call me and be like, hey, what the hell is going on? It's a different level of stress. Because now we're trying to help make sure we keep supplying him with good quality leads so he can keep taking care of his beautiful family. But these guys, some of these guys just don't care. Like, hey man, dude, I'm going to cold call and forget this, like, I know I got monthly expenses. I'm dropping all this, going straight in on inbound. Because it's easy to sell a dream. You want motivated leads. You want somebody knocking at your door, telling you they want to sell their house fast for cash instead of you calling them. Oh yeah, yes I do. Okay, awesome, quit cold calling. But cold calling been feeding your family. And that's the concept over and over again. So let's go to the next one. Devin, I told you guys, that's the story I was just explaining to you guys. Go to the next one. So, marketing channels, like a lot of people got risk tolerance. I say just move slow, like 20% of your budget over. Then kind of like if you're spending $10,000 a month on cold calling, it's producing you a good return. Just put 2 G's a month, right? 2 G's a month over to inbound and just slowly start to, and then if it start performing really good, you can slowly go 50-50, then 80-20, and you kind of get rid of cold calling. I think that's the proper way to do it. But everybody got that shiny object syndrome because everybody's making a lot of money on Google PPC and Facebook ads. And I am being biased here when I say that because I want all you guys doing Facebook ads. All right, so, but I am being biased, I'm being super honest, like, it's the shiny object syndrome, if I'm just keeping it real. What's the next one? So, you change without planning the cost. It'll cost you way more than you think. You gotta do the learning curve. It'll definitely confuse your team. It'll be you have drop-in results, like doing that switch. So if it confuses your team, going from inbound to outbound, definitely a different sales process, as we know, is a totally different sales process. John, would you agree? Different sales process. The team get confused, and it's a learning curve. I have to learn how to call these leads way faster. Cold calling leads, I was talking to this one guy, he's like, dude, I get a cold call lead coming in, I can call it the next day. And he was like, but dude, when I get an inbound coming in, literally I gotta call it within 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, because you're probably filling out your competitors for him. He's like, dude, I'm not used to that. Well, this wouldn't work. Because you're gonna have to get used to this if you want this to work at scale. Go to the next one. I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit, guys. Then that's the question I asked. Can you guys handle that dip, especially when you're jumping over different marketing platforms? Next one. Not testing. Looked in Rob's account, and I was like, fuck, Rob, you spending $100 a day on one ad. You need way more creatives. How many creatives you need? You guys now know if you're gonna launch a campaign, at least have 16 creatives. So test aggressively. Like I say test. I was talking to Chandler. As I'm sitting talking to Chandler, when he stopped and looked away, I was like, I texted my team, hey, I just told Chandler to shoot some ads, so I got to go and shoot more ads, and I like his idea, let's steal it. You know, so I was literally like, I like his idea, let's steal his idea, let's get it published before he do. And I was like, sorry, so if you see my ad up. Thank you. But you guys are not testing enough. No, but I'm kidding. But when you test a lot, guys, it becomes a full-time job. As I was explaining to Chandler, it literally becomes a fucking full-time job because you're always in the ad accounts. Because if you're spending $1,000 a day, you go by without checking your ad account for 5 days, that's 5 G's gone. Yeah, something could have happened to your ad account. Your GHL could have literally disconnected your lead forms. None of the leads came in. Like, it's so many different factors that you're not paying attention to. So it becomes a full-time job. I don't think you have to scale it up that fast. Like most people, I talk to you guys like, hey, Court, I'm comfortable taking home 100 G's a month. And like, hey, take it home to my pocket, I'm cool with that. You probably don't have to worry about scaling that fast, that aggressive. You can get there probably with, 3 to 10 G's a month in ad spend if you can optimize it really well and you ain't gotta worry about too much of testing all the time. But make sure you at least have some backup for the winners. That's the whole concept I want you guys to have. Because you guys, everybody's here doing Facebook, everybody saw their hand go up. What happens is the most creative person to win in this room. If you guys are in the same market, I'm way more creative, I can do way more output, I can test way more aggressive than you, I will just win, I'll get a cheaper cost per lead than you will. All right, go to the next one, Devin. So different ways you can test. I know I'm saying testing. Here's what we test for depending on certain situations. OTP forms if it's out of market. I mean, not as out of market. OTP forms if the disconnected number. Hey, Corey, I'm not picking up. None of my leads are picking up. What's actually going on? Landing pages. Some of you guys haven't even tried landing pages yet. Just Chandler and JT back there. With landing pages, you're taking them off of the platform. You're training a pixel, not using just Facebook optimization. You actually go and do VSLs. We can do, sales letter pages. You can do so much different things with landing page, and it's completely customizable. You can be super creative when it comes down to it. You can book appointments. It's just so much more you get to do with landing pages, but the cost per lead naturally goes up. And if you train the pixel right, the quality should go up as well. With landing pages, different forms, we do more volume or we do higher intent where they got to verify their information, make sure they put the right address, make sure everything is good, see if we want to increase that quality. If quality's down, hey, I want to try higher intent. I'm not going to shoot for more volume. Also, there's a button on Facebook a lot of people don't know about. There's this little button. If you guys are doing campaigns, you'll see it inside the ad set level. It says, I want to optimize for the maximum number of leads or the maximum number of conversions. So you can kind of like test that as well. Like, hey, do I want to optimize for the maximum number of leads with, a higher intent form or maximum number of conversions with a more volume form? And then let Facebook decide from there. So you can change those two things, creatives aggressively, hooks aggressively, copy, headlines. I would test a lot. Chandler was asking how many headlines and ad copies I use. I was like, dude, honestly, I do between like 3 to 5. And he's like, I'm doing 1. I'm like, I'm doing 3 to 5 because in Facebook, you guys know you can do that breakdown. It's a little button right there. You can break down and see, all right, what is your DMA regions? Where's the most money being spent? What's your return per market? You can go and break down which headline is working. You can break down which copy is working. So when I go and look at my creatives, I kind of do a whole breakdown, a dynamic breakdown and see exactly what's working. So when it is time for me to scale, I know exactly which markets I'm gonna scale in, which headlines I'm gonna scale with, which creatives I'm gonna scale with. So we already have all the testing done by me actually running it like this cadence.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So you said he who is the most creative, right, will win the lead, which I definitely agree with. So say that, right, I'm the most creative in said market. I win the lead. My team is dialed in, speed the lead, get them an offer on the same phone call. We aren't able to close it on that same call. They want to take 24 hours, go talk to somebody, right? We have a 24-hour expiration. And the way algorithms work these days, right, it's crazy. I talked about sunglasses, I'm going to get sunglasses,
yes.
et cetera, right? So within that 24-hour period from where I made the offer, have it in their inbox, they're just talking to their significant other, whoever it be. Within that time, chances are they're going to go back to scrolling again.
Yes,
right?
correct.
And another cash offer ad is going to come up, and another one, and another one. And this is what I noticed a lot with Facebook ads is that I'm just getting so much competition and so much competition.
Correct.
Next thing you know, I'm trying to get a good deal. I offered 150. She just got an offer at 160.
Yes.
Is there any way, and I don't think there is just the way the algorithms work, but is there any way to get rid of competition, or you just kind of have to try to be?
That's the best. Like that's what I love and hate the most about Facebook is like, hey, I just want them to fill out your form first and let your sales kick in. But because it's so like I know Facebook know they want you to do lead forms. Hey, as soon as you fill out this lead form, you're gonna see about 20 of your competitors' lead forms as well. Like that's how it works, and that's why the cost per lead is so cheap. Because same concept. When I was talking to a gentleman, I forgot. I think it was this gentleman right over yonder, and we were talking about he was adding his Facebook pixel to his Google website. And I was like, dude, my mouth started watering. And I'm like, I love that. And he was like, why? And I was like, because so the moment you does that, Facebook genuinely knows, okay, this is a motivated seller. So once you try to run the retargeting ads on Facebook, you spent $200 for that lead, I'm gonna go to Facebook and I'm gonna get it for 50. Well, one of my clients gonna go and get it for 50, but you spent $200 for it on Google. So there's no way around it, if I'm being honest, but that's why I love Facebook so much, because it knows if someone is actively looking to sell their property off market. So it's just sales, just get really better at sales.
I don't know if this is possible. Could you create like a second level of ads that like once Facebook knows that you've gotten under, you sent an offer, that now when they go, they see another set of ads that you created, but this time they're like, a real offer is worth more than another fake cash offer ad, or like start shitting on the other people they're going to see?
I feel like you would just have to take market share at that point.
Yeah.
Just different entities making it think that, it's all the time where we'll get a Facebook lead and that same lead will come in 2 hours later, a day later, a week later from a PPL source, or even a cold call source or something like that.
Yes.
And then we always pose as ABC home buyers or counter Whitehurst home buyers. Will
negotiate against yourself or whatever.
I also will add, I think like a lot of it you can do with marketing. So if you're having that problem, what I would do is I'd do some once they opt in, have a thank you page that has handles all those objections on it, and then in your drip follow-ups, sending a fuck ton of emails.
Yeah.
Say send 5, 6 emails, handling all those objections, and a bunch of texts. and let them know on the thank you page, like, hey, I'm gonna send you a bunch of resources, you can do your homework, see if we're a legit company, compare us to other things, talk about what they're gonna see, hey, what's gonna happen next is, this is what our team's gonna do, here's our process, etc. And then on the sales call, you just tell them about all those resources and be like, just scorch the earth with everyone else. Like, hey, just want to let you know, here's all the resources we're giving you. We're a super legit company.
Yes, sir.
Let me know if go and look at other companies, push them away. If other people are as legit as we are, provide you as much information, et cetera, et cetera. Just lean into it more like you already do. But give them more information to go and trust you, just like you would in sales, but let marketing and video do that retargeting for you. So your idea of retargeting the ad is perfect, but you just have to make follow-up cadence that educate based on why you're the trusted advisor, whereas no one else is. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's like, as soon as someone opt in for my services about marketing for wholesalers, they see all my competition. But then they go and look at my competition, like, hey, you got more testimonies, you ran more ads, and all of this stuff, and they eventually end up going with me. Because of that concept.
I guarantee most everyone in the room saw me, and then they went and watched YouTube, saw some of my content, and they're like, okay, what Chandler says is pretty fucking good, so I'm gonna come to this event. Whereas a lot of you might have been skeptical when you saw, but then you're like, okay, there's actually more trust there from reviews, testimonies, whatever it is. So
exactly
the exact same thing.
I want to add something. I think the secret is the people who reach out to you that they said they want to sell, they're going to sell. It's just a matter of who they're going to sell to. And the answer is they're going to sell to whoever they trust the most. So your job as a business owner is to create that trust with the sellers that they, even though they may have other options, you're the one that found the money. You're the one that found the motivation, right? And you become the trusted advisor, kind of what Chandler was talking about. But your team has to be on point in building that trust with them, where they're like, okay, these guys are going to solve my problem, X, Y, and Z, and really asking the motivation questions that will take them to kind of convert into a deal, right? So that, the whole summed down version is you got to create that win-win scenario with them, so they trust you, so that you can convert. But you're gonna have competition everywhere. It's a matter of how can you differentiate yourself from the competition to get that deal. And usually the answer is if they trust you, they're gonna move forward.
Exactly. Literally, and because as you guys know, it gets expensive. So if you're not building that trust, if you suck at sales, you probably shouldn't do inbound. Right, just because it gets really expensive. If you do not know have a good sales process, I don't care how good of a quality lead I got you, that person's still probably gonna fill out someone else's form. Like John, for his event, what he did was, I was like, hey, I can supply you with some leads. I supplied him with some leads, and I ran the ads Wednesday. By Friday, they already sold. And I'm pretty sure if I'd have gave them leads, because I gave them to him on Friday for the event, I just want to make sure I gave him enough lead. 3 of them had already sold their property. He's like, Courtney, those guys was ready to go. They was that much motivated, but if John probably would have talked to him first, he definitely would have locked him up because his, NAPQ, his sexy voice, he definitely would have probably locked him up. He definitely would have locked him up and built more trust and got that thing locked up, because no matter how qualified or motivated that lead is, it comes down to who I actually trust the most in that process. Did that make sense?
Also,
I like that, Fidel.
Not just offering cash, because if you can implement innovation, that's going to help with your conversions. So if you are at, I don't know, 6 offers to a contract, if you implement innovations, you drop down to 3 to 4 offers to a contract. So don't be married to just one extra strategy. If you can list them, or you can do MLS, whatever, do that. So just convert it.
Thank you. That was really good, brother. I think I'm almost done with this. So, real marketing requires a lot of testing. So we actually test what converts. So right offer, right message, right person. Like I said, we're using different people, same message, and then we're going to use Devin in his market. It performs way better. He's the right person for his market. So if we wanted to test different variations, I'll get more Devins. But you don't see too many of them like that. So what I can do is actually switch up the message, go very aggressive with different angles, 1.1 speed of the video, so he's talking faster, see if more people actually attract to that. It's different little caveats that you can do to actually increase the velocity of how aggressive you're gonna test. Like I was talking to Chandler about this. All my presentation is based off all the conversations I had with you guys. If you guys see, I'm referring to the problems that you guys had. And Chandler was like, man, how can I go and create that many ads in a weekend? And I was like, dude, you have one message. You can say it standing up, sitting down, driving in your car. You can 1.1 extra speed. You can go and you can go do a voiceover of it. Now you just created 5 different variations of the ad. Now we got 5 different headlines, 5 different ad copies. Now you got 25 different variations of the ad that Facebook is gonna show. Just because that one same script and you created 25 different versions of it. Because he just did different things. He 1.1x'd it. He put the AI thing over it, or whatever the case may be, a voiceover. But that's how you guys got to do it. You got to do it at that velocity. You got to test that hard, that aggressive, and you also test the hooks and you test the message, all right? and then you scale. So finding winners takes, time and money. You don't stumble upon a top performing ad. You actually test into it. Until then, you must expect like lower quality leads. You will wasted ad spend. If you go and do that model that I said, if you go and actually duplicate an ad set 10 times, 3 of them is not going to perform. They're just not going to perform as good as the old campaign or the couple new campaigns you guys have. So you have to be able to control that dip. I can lose, 20% of this because I'm testing. That's all it is. I got to be comfortable with my marketing and throwing away 20% of my ad spend. That's kind of how I look at it. I like gambling. I probably got a problem with gambling, but I do not mind gambling it when the upside is so big for me to find another winner. Right? So sales team start losing a little steam, but once you find that winner, you just kick that back off. Go ahead. So according to Facebook, only 1 in 10 ads becomes a top performer. So let's say for instance, my guy Rob right here, he only tried 1 ad. He needed 10 to find 1 good performer. He only tried 1, so he'll have to go and create 10 more different campaigns. He did it over the course of 6 months. He probably just now in 6 months found 1 top performer. However, at the beginning of this, I said you should at least start with 16. You should have 1 top performer by the time of it, at the end of 2 weeks. That's the cadence that I'm talking about. That's why you want to start with that many ads so you can identify how many top performers you have and start scaling those aggressive. All right, so just to recap, scaling too fast, you don't factor in the cost of change, and you're not testing enough. To the next one, because I kind of want to open it up to Q&A. And, okay.
For Q&A, save it. We're going to do panel style after this.
Okay. That's crazy. Okay, so if you don't have the budget, what I would do, guys, if you don't have the budget, you guys can utilize each other. I think this is a fucking great community. You guys are always bouncing ideas off each other, like you said, panel style, and you guys go off and you guys talk about what bottlenecks you guys are having. So let's say if we all capitalize, like we all cap, hey man, I'm not spending no more than $3,000 a month. I actually want to do too much in marketing. Let's say you're in the Vegas market, these gentlemen in the Vegas market as well. What I do, honestly, I use Chandler's money a lot to text. That's it. So example of me using someone, I use Chandler money. And what I mean by that, it may sound crazy, but Chandler called me like, hey, Courtney, I'm doing this. So if you guys ever been to one of my websites, I got like a slide deck thing on there. And you just slide across. Because I was like, VSLs, Chandler was explaining it to me. He was selling it to me really good. He's like, man, Courtney, because some people don't like, you talk too fast for some people, you talk too slow for some people. Some people actually want to see the visuals of it. You should actually try the swipe. And so they can actually read it at their own pace. I'm like, okay, are you doing it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Called him a month later. Hey, Chandler, how's that performing? That's performing really well. Okay, then I implemented it. I let Chandler spend the money. I let Chandler do all the testing, then I finally implemented it. So I was like, okay, so I'm using Chandler money, not mine, because I don't want to test what's not working. That's what I did, and I gave him a little nickname there. Don, yes.
What's Don for?
I have to tell you when the cameras are not rolling. Yes, based off. But okay, in all seriousness, guys, so use other people's money. So if you're in the same market, you can say, hey man, I don't want to test landing pages right now. I can't test landing pages right now, but you're like, hey man, dude, I want to test these different AI type of videos. You test landing pages, you test videos, and then share the data. And then now I know exactly what's working in my market, our markets. And because you got 3K, they got 3K, that's 6K together. Now I don't have to go through actually spending so much money and try to figure this thing out. Yes, ma'am? He changed the face, he's gonna keep laughing at it, huh? Yeah, so I would just like partner with someone that's most likely in my market, and I would kind of just talk to that person. Like Chandler, I would talk to Chandler when I'm trying to scale or something like that. I found my friends that are actively running ads and they're running them aggressive, and we just kind of get together and we just talk. Hey, what's working for you? This is working for me, okay. You run this for 2 weeks?
Do you also find people in the ads library that?
Oh yeah. So when I'm starting off, and I think that's what Rob said he did. He went to the ads library and was like, hey, which ads are working? And just start copying them, create different variations of it. Yes, ma'am. But now we don't do that though. When we first started, yes, we did do that. Now we got so much data, know exactly which creators work and what markets, that we don't need to do that. But if I was to start over, yes, that's exactly what I would do to start over. Make sense? I know I'm not gonna open it up to Q&A because we're gonna do a panel.
Yeah, so guys, give
Right
it up
now?
for Courtney.